Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Heidi, and in this video I'm gonna do the Booktube Newbie Tag. I have already done this video before. My first video was the Newbie Booktube Tag, but I wanted to redo it just because in that video I was very nervous. I was just getting started, but I feel slightly more comfortable on camera, and I just wanted to make this video again, just for fun, and elaborate a little bit more on some of the questions I found on Pinterest. It's a Instagram or Bookstagram newbie tag, and it's kind of the same questions, and I'll still have the same answers, but I'll word them kind of differently, and just to get to know me a little bit more, I guess. And I just kind of want to answer these questions. So if you're interested, like this video, and ask me some more questions in the comments below if you have any. That's about it. Let's get started. So the first question is, why do you love reading? The obvious answer is for the escapism. A lot of people love getting into reading just because of escapism. I think the biggest thing for me is I love reading about character development and very character-based stories. I've always found it easier to enjoy stories in novels than stories in movies or shows. Not that I don't enjoy watching shows or movies, but I found more enjoyment in reading lengthy novels and really getting to know more about a character when I'm in their minds rather than just watching a character on screen, I guess. So that's the biggest thing why I like reading, is I like to be very invested in the character and knowing their every thoughts, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to be answering all the questions, but just the ones I kind of want to answer. Do you have a favorite place to read? This question, I have a different answer for this question all the time, because sometimes I'll like reading on the couch, sometimes I'll read in bed, sometimes I try not to read in bed because I'll just fall asleep right away if I read in bed. If it's nice outside, I like to read outside. So I guess the answer is different every time you'd ask me. Right now, I really enjoy reading in bed. But yeah, I do fall asleep pretty quickly if I'm in bed and I'm reading, especially when it's time to sleep. What book or series got you into reading? The book that really got me into reading, or continually read or continually find books to read, would be the Divergent series. When the movies came out, I watched the movie and I loved the movie so much that I bought the book right away and started reading all of them, and I loved the main character. I don't know if I were to read that book again right now, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much as I did back then, but that's probably the book that got me really into reading. And I'll take it a step further and say the books that got me into fantasy, which is one of my favorite genres to read, is fantasy. That would be the Throne of Glass books by Sarah J. Maas. Those books are what got me into wanting to read more fantasy novels and young adult. I don't think I'll ever stop reading young adult fantasy books because I just enjoy them so much. But yeah, those are the two book series that really got me into reading. What kind of books do you like to read? I kind of answered this already, but I like to read fantasy books for the most part. I do YA. I like to try and read middle grade and adult fantasy books. I also really enjoy thrillers, but I can't stay too long. I try not to read thrillers like back to back too much, just because it's a little too much for me. Like when I'm reading, or even just horror novels, I like them, but sometimes it's a little too much for me. And then I'll go back to a fantasy to like lighten it up a little bit, and calm my nerves, I guess. But thrillers and fantasy books are the two main genres I stick with and love to read. Do you prefer paperback or hardcover books? I prefer both. I don't know. I prefer paperback because they're cheaper. They're comfortable to read with, and I like hardback because they look nice sitting on a shelf. Special edition books come in a hardcover, and I really love the look of special edition books. So to read, I like paperback, but just to look nice and sit on my shelf, I like the hardcover books. Do you read more than one book at a time? I try and stick with one book at a time because when I read more than one book at a time, I'm more likely to DNF one book or both books just because it's too much for me at the time. I typically am a slow reader. I enjoy savoring my books and taking my time. So if I'm reading two at once, I guess I just don't enjoy it as much as I would if I just spent my majority of time just reading one. I don't know. I like to stick with just one book. I'm realizing I'm not really answering any Booktube newbie stuff. Okay, question number 1, why did you start this channel? I've wanted to create a Booktube channel or a YouTube channel for the longest time. I just wanted to create videos. I really wanted to get into consistently creating videos, and I love reading books at the same time. So I thought creating a channel mainly centered around reading would be great for me. It would help with keeping me consistent in my reading goals, and it would just be overall more enjoyable than just reading by myself, because I don't have too many people that read the books that I'm reading. I got my brother into kind of reading the books I'm reading as well, but I wanted to further I wanted more enjoyment when reading, rather it just be for myself, but talking about it also with others. So that's kind of why I started this channel. Do you reread books, or why or why not? I typically don't reread books. I think about rereading books a lot, but I just don't end up doing it. I think it's because there's just so many books on my shelf that I want to complete before I can get to rereading some books. I'd really love to reread Throne of Glass series, just because I finished, when did I finish? I think I finished them, the last book came out 2018, so I finished it when it came out, and I kind of want to revisit all the books because I read the Throne of Glass books as they were coming out, and as they were coming out, the main character was the same age as I was, so it was really exciting to go through and just, I don't know, I guess it was, I really love that part of following the character with the same age. So I really want to go back to see if I really enjoy this story as much as if I really enjoy the story now as much as I did back then. So that's something that's the series I probably constantly think about rereading. The author is also really popular, with being popular, there's so many different opinions. Some people love the author's books, some people just really don't enjoy reading them. So with that in mind, it'd be really interesting to reread the books, see how I feel with all these other opinions surrounding the stories, and just kind of see how it goes. So yeah, I'm interested in rereading those ones, but I typically don't reread stories. Yeah, I think those are all the questions that I am going to answer. I'll leave below the creator of this Bookstagram newbie tag, also who created the Booktube newbie tag, even though I didn't answer too many of those, but most of the questions are pretty similar. So I think I answered quite a bit of them. I just didn't want to make the second video pretty much the same as my first Booktube newbie tag, but if you want to watch that, you can. Me being really awkward, I guess you can watch that one again if you would like to. Thank you so much for sticking around and just listen to me talk. If you have any other questions, you can put in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and you can answer some of these questions as well. I'd love to hear from you. So thanks again for sticking around, and have a good one. Bye.